going on, everybody? Welcome back to Call Class. My name is Evan Hale, and we're just going to get right into this. If you saw the title, it's pretty simple. We're just going to go over my picks for each award in the NBA. Kind of want to apologize. Haven't been putting stuff out. I just was in the hospital for a week. Got some kind of heart condition. I haven't really talked about it too much on the channel here, but happens every once in a while. Could have some issues, but we're okay. I'm recovered, but I am now mass recording a bunch of videos. So you're going to see me wearing this hat, probably 4 of them, because I need a haircut real bad. And I was supposed to get one last week, my day off, but instead I had 7 days off in a row being in the hospital. So, yeah, that's that. I'm going to be giving my imaginary ballot, if I had one, for each award: MVP, Most Improved, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Coach of the Year. I'm not going to do executive, and I'm not going to do plus player of the year, just because those are kind of harder things to be like tangible about, I just know Nico Harrison would not be my executive of the year. That's all I'm going to say. But we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with the heavy hitter here, the MVP. So obviously this is a 2-man race. We know it's going to be one or two guys. Well, I think at this point we know Shea is the heavily betting favorite, and I picked Shea personally to win the award. This is the closest race I probably ever remember. I've been watching basketball for, 14, 15 years now. Just both guys. I mean, I'm going to start before I really get into any of these awards. A lot of award discourse. If you pick one guy or you pick another guy, to defend your case, you regularly have to people tear down the other candidate. We're not doing that, today. Everybody's getting praised today. I'm just gonna tell you why I personally picked the guy to win. But if you're in the conversation for an award, you should get nothing but praise for being in that conversation, because obviously you're doing something right. So I have Shea over Jokic, the closest race, I remember. Jokic and Shea both had 2 of the greatest seasons of all time. I mean, by advanced stats, by regular stats, they both were incredible, right? The only reason I'm picking Shea over Jokic is just from the team success perspective. The Nuggets ended the season with 50 wins. I think the Thunder ended with 68 wins. If Jokic won more than 55 games, were the 2 seed, maybe we're close at the end of the year with the Thunder. Maybe I give it to Jokic, but just with the team success, separation, I'm gonna go with Shea. Obviously, the Thunder's roster significantly better than the Nuggets roster. Both of these players are incredibly valuable. I mean, 2 of the most fun guys to watch in the league for totally different reasons. I mean, you hear people talk about how the league everybody plays the same. Like, that's a complaint of the league if you don't watch basketball. A lot of the old heads complain about that. They play so different, and they're so much fun to watch each of them. I mean, it's awesome, and I feel blessed to watch both of them play basketball every time they play. So, God, just nothing but praise for those guys. A couple of things like comments. I mean, Jokic averaged triple-double. He had one of the greatest offensive seasons of all time. I've heard seen people say he has the highest offensive peak ever, and it's hard to argue that. I'm a LeBron guy. I am super high on LeBron. If I could make an argument that Jokic has had the highest peak offensively of any player ever. It's just Shea has more impact on the defensive side of the ball. I know there's the whole foul baiting thing, but that's just like a misnomer. I mean, he leads the league in drives. I saw a graph where it was number of drives versus how often you make free throws or number of free throws made, and he is proportionally in the alley where most people are. It's just that he leads the league in drives, so he gets fouled the most. The only reason that Giannis doesn't make more free throws than him is because he misses at a higher proportional rate. If Giannis made the same percentage of free throws as Shea, he would have more free throws made this year. So it's just, foul baiting, it's like a thing. I think Kobe and Michael Jordan both shot more free throws their MVP years, or most of their MVP years. Like Shea is For what he does, he is not a foul merchant. Yeah, he does do some flopping, but all the greats have, and he's gonna go down as one of the greats. So anyway, Shea is my MVP. Awesome race and fun to watch. It's cool to see another guy win MVP. So congratulations to Shea, because it looks like, I think he was like minus 1,300 to win. I think he's pretty much wrapped it up. But there will be some first place votes for Jokic. It will be a close vote race, but I think that he's pretty much got it at this point. The next award I'm going to go into is most improved player. I'm giving it to Dyson Daniels over Cade Cunningham. They're the two betting favorites right now. I like the award being given to role players who ascend as like the premise of the award. A lot of guys have won it as a top 5 pick as of recently, and I don't want to like I said, we're not hating on players here. I'm not trying to diminish what Cade has done this year. Cade has been amazing this year. It's so much fun to watch. Seeing the jump that the Pistons have had has been incredible. And I don't want to discredit that. He, deserves all the praise. I've given nothing but love to the Pistons all year. But I think a lot of the improvement is improvement in coaching. It's been an improvement in the roster. I think what Cade did this year is what I've seen out of him over the last few years. When he's been healthy, but it's just the rest of the team around him has not allowed him to play at his full potential. Now he has shooting around him. He has some veteran leadership around him. The people have stepped up around him. He has hit where I expect him to be. While Dyson Daniels kind of came in out of nowhere. I mean, he was just kind of like a young piece, with some question marks that was in a trade for an all-star. And now you could argue he's the most valuable piece in that trade. He went from 5.8 points per game to 14.1 points per game, and while he's increasing his shot taking, his efficiency also went up. His 2-point and 3-point percentage and his effective field goal percentage all went up. He also is the first player this century to average 3 steals per game. And he led the NBA in stocks this year. I mean, the Great Barrier Thief is like what they call him. He has a cool nickname. He has been electric to watch play this year. To see his jump has been awesome. He's been exactly what the Hawks have needed this year. Every NBA team wishes they had Dyson Daniels on their team. I'm not saying every NBA team doesn't want Cade on their team, but he went from a guy who was not barely getting playing time, but was near the end of the bench guy over in New Orleans, at least for a time. They had some injuries, so he did play decent amounts at times, but wasn't seen as one of those pieces for their future. Was thrown in the trade for DeJounte Murray, and I mean DeJounte got hurt, but he had a much better year than DeJounte. I would argue he fit better with what they wanted DeJounte to do in Atlanta than what DeJounte did. So I mean, great win for them for the trade, and they got 2 firsts. They got Larry Nance. I can't remember the other piece in that trade. But they got, I would say the Hawks more than won that trade. And I think, he deserves to win most improved player. I believe he's the favorite to win most improved player. But it's just, he is somebody I see deserving to win that award. He is the betting favorite minus 1,200. Okay, awesome. So that's from Bet365. So perfect. Next thing we're going to get into is Defensive Player of the Year. Another very close award. So right now I do know the betting favorite is Draymond Green, but I personally am going to go with Evan Mobley. I have said this for each time for award, but I'm especially going to say it for this award because I don't want you guys to think that I am hating on Draymond or anything like that. Draymond Green is one of the greatest defenders the league has ever seen. He has this career prowess of, elite defense anchoring, this Warriors dynasty, and just, he's one of the greatest defenders of all time. But the reason I think he has the favorite odds to win the award right now is because of his podcast and his, advertising himself to win the award, if that makes any sense. So other people have said it in the league. I saw Darius Garland talked about it. Other people have talked about it. I think he has very similar stats to Evan Mobley. Um, and the Cavs and the Warriors are almost identical. Defensive ratings, they have very similar defensive stats individually. They both average 2.5 stocks a game. But I think Evan Mobley has been more consistent all year. The Warriors' defensive rating has really caught up to the Cavs since they added Jimmy Butler. He's really improved their team defense as a whole. Well, the Cavs have kind of slipped in defensive rating as they've locked up the 1 seed. They've rested some guys. And I think that Evan Mobley was more consistently the better defender across the entire season. So I gave the award to Evan Mobley. Does Draymond Green also deserve the award? I would say, if you're in the conversation for the award, you're obviously at least somewhat deserving. This really should have been Wemby's award. This should have been a tight race between Wemby and Chet Holmgren, but as we know, they both suffered injuries. We see Chet Holmgren is back now, which is awesome. Wemby should be recovering. He should come back healthy, good as ever. So that's great. But yeah, no, we just didn't get to see them meet the threshold. I also do want to shout out Amen Thompson and Dyson Daniels. Both made great defensive jumps this year. 2 young guys. Just talked about Dyson Daniels a minute ago. Led the league in stocks. Amen Thompson has been just the craziest athlete you've ever seen on the basketball court before, and just making these amazing defensive plays. And he's just been so much fun to watch himself. That would kind of make up my all defensive first team if I made a first team. And then I'd probably say maybe Jaren would be the last guy for the 5th guy. But all deserve all the love for defense. So yeah, no, that's my deep boy. Hope you understand why I picked who I picked. Now we're gonna go into rookie of the year. So I have Castle over Zachary Sachet. They're the 2 highest odds for the award. Castle has just been asked to do so much this year. You didn't have Fox for the first half of the year, and then you trade for him. Then he gets hurt. He gets down with injury pretty much immediately after getting him, so he misses the year. He plays 20-something minutes a game. He has a large role. He plays 81 games this year. He led all rookies in points per game. He's top 4 in assists per game among rookies. Second in steals by 0.1 steals. He's just been elite this year. I mean, for a rookie, he's done everything that they need him to do. He's shown such flashes of being elite. I would say his first 30-point game this year was that the buzzer beater that Fox hit that was called back. That was that game where Miles Bridges hit the corner 3 to win the game. And it was so much fun to watch him play. Yet he hit his jump shot that game. His jump shot isn't super consistent right now, but I mean, if he gets a consistent jumper, he could be a serious problem in this league for a long time. He might have the highest ceiling out of this draft class. I mean, his defense is amazing. He's got great size. He to play the 1 or the 2. Him and Fox are kind of both versatile for their. They both kind of be that combo guard. Both great defenders, So it's gonna be cool to watch them play together. He's had such a great year. I mean, he stepped up when they needed him to step up. So he played 81 games this year. Was also, you could tell Chris Paul's leadership really helped him out. So it's just been awesome to watch, and I'm very happy to see him succeed. I was really high on him coming out of the draft. I really wanted him to go to the Hornets. Obviously, he went before our pick, but yeah, no, he's just been amazing and so much fun to watch. But I do got to give my love to Risache. He kind of started off the year a little slow. He did have that 30 piece. I think he threw a 32 in November, but after January 1st, he took a leap. He's averaged 12.6 points per game. Had a couple of scoring explosions over the last probably 2.5 weeks of the season, kind of the end of March, and to the middle of April, he scored 36 and 38. He's really taken a step up as he plays good defense, kind of like a 3-and-D wing, and he's doing it on very efficient shooting. Kind of Klay Thompson-esque that he's not dribbling the ball very much. He's catching the shooting and he's just knocking down the shots. He's been a guy who, some people didn't think should go number 1. A lot of people thought Alex Sarr should go 1, but he didn't want to go to Atlanta. But he seems to really be fitting what Atlanta wants to do, and it's been good to see him succeed in that regard. Like watching him play. A lot of French guys in the league have been succeeding as he's another one of those guys. Just I'm somebody who I want to see everybody hit their peak. In a perfect world, every single guy hits their ceiling, and I'm glad to see that he is on his way to doing so. I also want to give some love to Monas Puzelis and Zach Edey, as well as Jalen Wells. Those guys all had great years. And then also all of the Wizards rookies, Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington, and Keyshawn George. What a great draft on their end. They have, they didn't have a very good year this year, but they single-handedly drafted half of the starting lineup for their future this last draft. And I would say that, they win the lottery this year, man. You add, Cooper Flag to that. That could be a scary team in a couple of years, especially defensively. They're going to be a team, they're going to be a team that causes some problems. I'm very excited to watch them in the future. But yeah, got to give all my flowers to all those guys. They all had great flashes this year, and I think all of those guys are going to be at least elite role players for the rest of their career, like at a minimum. And there's also more rookies I didn't mention. You got Donovan Clingan comes to mind as another guy. I wish we saw more of Reed Shepard. I don't know if the Rockets are going to be holding on to him for the rest of after this offseason. I don't know if they're going to make a move. I imagine he's going to be in that, but some guys, he didn't get a lot of playing time, so I'm interested to see where he ends up and how things go with him. Was high on him this draft, so that's more of a looking forward thing. But yes, Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year, much deserved. Next award we're going to go into is Sixth Man of the Year. I have Malik Beasley over Peyton Pritchard. This is Peyton Pritchard's award. He's wrapped it up in a nice bow tie. I think he's like the most favorite in the odds to win this award, like over any other award. But I really just want to give my flowers to Malik Beasley and give him my imaginary vote. Because his impact on the Pistons cannot be understated, not just on the floor, but just as a leader. He led the league in three-pointers made this year. He also helped lead the bench unit, obviously, being Sixth Man of the Year, that got the Pistons from being a 14-win team to almost tripling their wins and being the 6th seed in the East. And it wasn't all him, but he was, one of those guys who, helped elevate the team. And my favorite story for him and why I'm giving him this is there's reports that around the deadline, he is on a 1-year deal, which, a lot of these young teams, if you have a guy having a career year from the three-point line, and they're on an expiring deal, you flip them to a contender, you get a draft pick, and you kind of reset. He went into the general manager's office and said, I know it's a business, but please don't trade me. He said, I want to be here. I want to lead these guys. I want to win with these guys. And that's just something that, it's just that leadership, that contribution to winning. We knew that the Celtics were going to be good this year. I was high on the Pistons coming into this year. Wasn't recording podcasts then. I wish I talked about it more online because those receipts would be awesome for my credibility. But I was high on the Pistons, not this high on the Pistons. I thought they were going to be like an 8 seed, in the play, and maybe I didn't think they were going to clinch a playoff spot and be this high above, those guys who are in the play-in. But he's a big part of that. I also just personal connection to Malik Beasley. I've been a fan of him for a minute. I liked him at Florida State. Obviously, he was a good prospect. But when I was this was last season, I went to the first home game for the Hornets for the in-season tournament before it was NBA Cup, and it was against the Bucks, and he was playing. And the row in front of me, the seats in front of me, there was a lady in a Malik Beasley jersey, and you don't see those too often. And she was so excited every time he touched the ball. And I was like, "Oh, are you guys family?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm his mom." And she was so nice. We talked at halftime. I let her watch the game. I didn't want to bother her too much. We talked at halftime. We talked about him at Florida State. We talked about him on the Bucks. Talked about him on the Lakers a little bit and how he left the Lakers because he wasn't happy with his production there and how he was being used there. Still didn't have the best year in Milwaukee, but it's beside the point. And then this year, she was also super nice. Shout out Blake Beasley's mom. She was so nice. And this year, I was blessed enough. I knew a guy with courtside tickets to the Hornets, and we had been chatting. And I was at the Hornets Pistons game this year, where Brandon Miller hit the buzzer-beating game winner. on the putback, and I was just talking to the guy, and I joked, I'm like, so when are you going to give me some of these courtside seats? And he's like, well, I got 2 tonight. Me and my best friend were at the game, and he's like, they're yours if you want them. So, it was incredible. He's a good guy, and he put the wristbands on me and my buddy's wrists, and we sat down behind him, and we were second row courtside, right where the opposing team checked in. We were the closest seats to the scorer's table. So a lot of the guys were waiting to check in, and I shared that story that I shared with you guys to Malik Beasley about his mom. He was waiting to check in, and then he laughed, and he kind of pointed to the section across the way and was like, "Oh, she's here tonight too," and pointed over, and it was kind of neat. Dapped me up, right? Like when he was checking into the game for the last time. All smiles. And very nice guy, seemed cool, and it was just, a nice little story. And I know that's, I've been a fan of his ever since. Really want to see him do well. And while he's not going to win Sixth Man of the Year, I just wanted to give him my love, not just because of that story, but because of all the things he's done for the Pistons. The Pistons are a team I'm very high on, and I wanted to give them at least one award because for the Coach of the Year, which is our next award, I am not giving it to JB Bickerstaff, even though he is my second place guy. I am giving this, however, to Kenny Atkinson. So Kenny Atkinson, it's funny that this is the 2 coaches leading the award for odds are the former and current Cavaliers coach. I guess they're doing something right over there. And JB, like I said, helped the Pistons get from 14 wins to the 6th seed. Can't go unnoticed. He deserves his flowers with that. The whole roster did have improvements. But the reason I'm giving Atkinson the award is because I feel like he unlocked something in the Cavaliers team that I didn't think was possible. A lot of us didn't think were possible. He took essentially the same roster that JB Bickerstaff had and made him the best team in the NBA for most of the season. The Thunder did eventually catch up and pass him in wins, but other than the midseason additions with the trade and the signing, this is the same Cavs team that JB Bickerstaff had the last couple of years, and they look different under Kenny Atkinson. So that's why I'm giving him the award over JB Bickerstaff. Also, shout out to JB Bickerstaff, though. That same day that I met Blake Beasley courtside, I was where the coaches walk, and his nephew played for James Madison, which is I'm repping my Coastal Carolina gear, live in Conway, South Carolina, and I mentioned that because the last year, the March Madness, JMU went on a little mini run. They beat the 5 seed, and then they almost beat Duke, the 4 seed. And I just mentioned his nephew and how I was kind of rooting for him just because of the conference. And he's like, "Oh, thanks, appreciate that," and dapped me up. So that's my little anecdote about JB Bickerstaff. I don't have any connections to Kenny Atkinson, but this proves that I'm not giving Malik Beasley just the award because I talked to him before. But shout out both those guys. Also, Mark Daigneault also deserves some love. He had a great year. 68 wins is ridiculous. Even with that stacked roster, winning 68 games is awesome. I'll give a story about him. I never met him, but I attended the Thunder game this year in Charlotte, and they were up about 14. It was still kind of a close game, like 2.5 minutes left. The game was pretty much sealed, but Shea and Mark Daigneault were both like coaching the team up really hard. They put in mostly bench guys, but Shea stayed on the floor. And the way that Mark Daigneault was coaching the team, like walking up as far up as he could and yelling about defensive stuff, like with the game sealed up, like they had this kind of intensity, the Thunder themselves, and especially Mark Daigneault, which I think has been contagious to the roster, about how competitive they are and how much they how much fire they have about winning and about competing. It's super cool to see. So that is my award winners for the year. I thought about doing first team, second team, third team All NBA, and first and second team All Defense and all rookie teams, but that just felt like a lot. Like I said, I just got out of the hospital. I'm trying to get a couple of videos out. So I tried to do some research on the awards today. Just to make sure I was picking the right guys, even though I kind of had them in my mind anyways. Nothing, I didn't flip anything, but I checked the stats and so maybe I might make those all awards later. If you want to see that, leave a comment. hit me up on Twitter. You guys, most of the people watch this video from my Twitter page. So, but yeah, no, thank you so much for watching. Yes, I always say at the end of every video, just enjoy basketball. It's a beautiful sport we get to watch, and there's so much negativity around it. And this, especially time of year, like I said, people like to tear candidates down for why they want their guy to win. But yeah, no, we got to. If you're competing for an award, it's because you're one of the best, and you deserve nothing but respect in that regard. So let's be positive, and I hope everybody has a great day. And I hope your team, if they're still in the playoffs or they're playing, I hope they look good tonight. We got the first round of the play-in tonight. I'm going to be coming out with a video this week. I don't know if I'm going to do it before the playoffs are set, or maybe I'll do it before the 8 seats are picked, but picking at least the first round of the playoffs. I have a special guest, been in chats with a guy, 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. He hasn't made a YouTube video in a long time, old 2K YouTuber. Some hints there for you. But it'd be really cool to get him on and text him. So that might happen, or it might just be me, or who knows. But thank you so much for watching. Hope y'all have a good one. And yeah, enjoy basketball.